Well, hello everyone. This is Carrie Beck with Family eBiz. I was just checking to see if there were any member requests. Nope. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am so glad you are here with me today. I'm going to be talking about writing and what part writing has to play in our businesses. And I really hadn't planned on this, but I really got charged up last Friday. I missed a Thursday webinar with Marion Ross, I think's her name, on being productive in your writing. And I wanted to go to it. So I found time on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock my time and got on there and actually learned a lot. I was energized. I'm excited. I want to talk to you about that. Before I talk about writing, let me tell you a little bit about my story when it comes to writing. About 8 or 10 years ago, I went to a blogging conference called Blissdom. And I actually think I may have won a ticket there. I can't remember, but it is a blogging conference. And so I went and spent 3 days. I actually did win a camera. I went to a photography class and they pulled my name out and I won. So that was cool. But let me tell you a few takeaways from that conference. I don't remember who the speakers were, but one of the speakers was talking about every time they have a guest blogger, someone come and write a guest blog post, they must include one story in that blog post. It can't be a bunch of facts. And I thought that's really interesting. And then another particular blogger was teaching and said that it's important that you're always including a story because the people reading it connect with a story. So I went away and that was one of my goals in my writing was to always include a story. I wasn't always successful, but to this day I still consider that. I think about that idea that I need to share stories because stories are what will draw people into my blog post. It will draw people into my email writing. It will draw people into my responses to them. There's all sorts of ways that stories play into our writing. And so I started studying that and I learned more the best way to write a blog post and for readers to stay and read was they get hooked on a story and they want to read the next line and the next line and the next line because that story just hooks them and draws them in. So I think it's really important that we do learn the art of storytelling. Even if you're a nonfiction writer or a technical writer, we will need to market whatever we are selling and we need to tell stories in our marketing as well, whether they're our personal stories, someone else's stories that used your product, or maybe someone from history and their stories. Now, I will tell you that today I sent out an email to everyone and there was a story in there. And it was a surprise story because I didn't expect to write that email. I told you that I didn't even expect one to buy the toolkit, the writer's toolkit, or to promote it that much. I was going to let people know. But once I heard that webinar and once I saw the benefit of the courses inside of it, I was like, it would not be fair to not tell my people about the writer's toolkit. And so I was just blown away with the information in the webinar. And I just thought, I really need to share this with them because writing, my improvement of writing has really changed my business. I was not a good writer in high school. In college, I struggled with all my essays. My poor professors would be trying to tell me how to fix this paragraph or that paragraph. And it was probably a 10 or 20 page paper. But I really struggled with it. And so I have really worked on the art of writing. And when I saw this, I thought, this could really help you go to the next level, Carrie, if you can write better. So let me give you some specific places in my business that I use writing. And then I'm going to tell you my dream about writing as well. So writing email responses to you. So when you send me an email, I need to respond to those. And oftentimes I will share personal stories about whatever the topic is. I need to be able to understand how to communicate those stories as well and have the ability to do that. When I write e-zines or emails, like to all of you in all the followers, that's where I probably spend the bulk of my time writing emails, like for everything. And I just want to go, oh, But that is where it is. Email marketing is what has increased and made our business successful. And so I work on opening it up with a story. I also, as I go through, I will tell you stories. I had someone tell me that a few weeks ago, there was the homemaking bundle. I sent it out to my business list, but I realized, well, I've got a business product, a work at home product. I probably should send it out to them. I waited 2 days. I was sort of late. I told why I thought this would work in these story situations. I used stories for each one of them. And I had another blogger tell me, Carrie, I wasn't going to get it. But when I read your email and you showed me how it would fit into my life, then I went and I bought it. So there's one thing, you've got to be able to communicate. I think personalizing your emails for your readers to draw them into the story, and they keep reading the next line and the next line. Same thing with writing a blog post. You know, all writing sort of is like you got to get this hook and then you move forward. So it's always important in a blog post that you include at least one story to support. It's not just a bunch of facts, which is what I tended to do when I originally started writing blog posts. It could be my personal story or someone else's story. Writing courses. Now, I will tell you that a lot of times some of my ebooks and my courses and the writing part of it, it actually began as a transcript. So I would have something, because it's easier for me to communicate. Most people, it's easier to talk out loud than to write, because writing is just thinking on paper. And so I would take I'd get it transcribed, and then that would get me started. And then I could integrate other stories or move the sections around in our courses. And allowed me to edit and I think improve the writing as well. I wouldn't just give you a transcript. Even my transcripts that I pass out, I edit lightly. I've been writing unit studies for a while, and so I have to have the ability to communicate. Here's what you do, and here's how you're going to use this unit study to educate your kids. And then the last one I have before I share my dream is writing ebooks or physical books. No matter what type of book you're writing, technical, nonfiction, fiction, you need to know how to tell stories. And so I think that's really important. You'll notice I've talked a lot about stories. Now, telling stories isn't the only thing to improve your writing. I'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're writing ebooks, a technical book, remember, you've got to market it. So you've got to be able to tell stories to be able to do that. What is my dream in writing? My dream is to get a book published by a publishing firm. And lately, the book that I believe God has put on my heart for the last few years, well, yeah, at least 4 years, but narrowing it down, and I even narrowed it down more after I listened to the webinar, is a book on forgiveness, apologies, confession, and repentance, sharing stories, personal stories, and other people maybe too, but personal stories of rejection by my family, my church, my mission, organization, my neighbor. And it would be in the form of a personal memoir. That is my hope and my goal. And I'm going to start using some of those ideas about writing daily and consistently and start getting some of these ideas out of my head and onto paper. Remember, writing is just thinking on paper on this. So let's talk about this and how could we, what are some things you could do? You've heard me talk about the Writer's Toolkit. You just can't get around the fact that I believe in it. I bought it on the spot without even really expecting to buy it. I was just getting on the webinar to hear what they had to say to see if I could share some of those ideas with you. And so I discovered once I bought it, I actually got online. I'm going to get the early bird bonus for tomorrow, but there were two things that really, there's a lot of things in there, but there were two courses that I immediately signed up for. One was Character Creation Crash Course by Christina Adams. It sells normally for $199. And basically she takes you through how to create realistic, believable, three-dimensional characters that people will remember long after they've turned the final page. Yes, it's more of a book, but we need to be able to illustrate, to bring our character and our story, even in a blog post, to life so that people relate. You want that heartstring tug with them. That's what will draw them in to the resources that you want to sell. You want to sell some stuff. And so that's what we need to do. We need to tug at the heartstrings. The other one I'm really interested in by Abigail King says, write better, right now, the No Nonsense Writing Course. This is a $300 course if you go on her website. And it says, learn the secrets that published writers know. Well, that's what I want to learn. I want to know what are the secrets so that I can go to a publishing firm or to many until I find a good deal. There are some other ones on getting published, and I will be taking those courses as well. But the cool thing is, once I sign up for them, I have lifetime access as long as that course is still available. I would really encourage you, in the description, there's a link to buy that and look at that. And I am going to give you a bonus if you use that link. I'm going to give you my email writing secrets, $37, because I have spent a lot of time studying email writing. I use email writing. You probably are like, yes, because we get a lot of emails from you, because I think that's how I build relationships with you. And so that normally sells for $37. I will give that to you for free if you use my link. And my other one is 37 Best Email Subject Lines. It sells for $9.95. So that's a total of $46.95 in two really good resources. Subject line is not the number one thing that people look at, but it is the number two thing people look at to decide if they're going to open it. You have to read my email writing book to find out what number one is. But those best email subject lines, I to this day still pull that document out and look at it to give me ideas and help me figure out what my subject line will be. So that's a lot of information. I've talked to you about the importance of story, the importance of refining our art of writing, the technical sides, the study sides. There's all sorts of things in that course that can help you. And I personally believe in this. Like I said, I didn't even plan to talk about it today, but I did. And so I would really encourage you to go take a look at that. Now, before I sign off, let me just tell you we have a special treat next week. Next week, my friend Dan Morris of BC Stack will be here in our group at 3:30 or 4:30 or whatever time it is, your time zone. And he's going to be sharing, we're going to talk a little bit about my new course, but he's going to be sharing a way that I don't even know. I think there's 65 courses that you could get to actually grow your online business. And so I'm not going to give it all away. I think a lot of it has to do with blogging, but it is wide open. If you have an area that needs help in your online business, I can promise you there is a course there that Dan will offer that you could use to help. And the cool thing is you are going to get it at like a 97% discount. Now, what I would like you to do is, if you've listened this far, please leave a comment and tell me what area of your business is the part that you really need the most help out. And that way Dan can really communicate with us. I think I will put a separate post up with that, because we really need to be able to talk about what you need, not just what I need as well. So thanks for spending time with me. If you want the Writer's Toolkit, I'll throw in email writing secrets and best email subject lines, $46.95 in bonus items. Go take a look at it and see if that's a good fit for you. I am Carrie Beck with Family eBiz. Have a great day.